There's an unshakable power in silence, one that is often overlooked in the chaos of daily life. As a Stoic, you understand that silence is not the absence of sound, but the deliberate quieting of the mind, the emotions, and even the need to respond. In silence, we find the space to grow, to reflect, and to regain control over ourselves. Today, we'll delve into 10 Stoic practices of silence in your daily life that, when mastered, can transform your life faster than you think. Now let's begin. Number 1. Silence your reactions. Life is full of provocations. People, circumstances, and even your own mind will test your composure. But the first step in mastering silence is learning to still your reactions. Imagine a situation where someone publicly humiliates you or a colleague undermines your work. Most people would respond impulsively, lashing out or defending themselves. But as a Stoic, you embrace the pause. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor who faced constant pressure, once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." In these moments of conflict, silence is your power. You choose not to retaliate because you understand that emotional reactions only fuel the fire. Instead, by staying silent, you rise above the situation. Your silence is a statement. It shows you are in control, unshaken by the whims of others. In doing so, you practice the highest form of self-discipline and fortitude. Imagine someone spreading false rumors about you at work. The natural reaction might be to confront them or to spread rumors in return. But what if you chose silence instead? What if you let the rumors speak for themselves? Over time, the truth will surface and your silence will have preserved your dignity and integrity. This is the power of a Stoic's silent response. Number 2. Practice listening without judgment. True listening is a rare art. In a world where everyone is eager to speak, a Stoic learns to listen without judgment. Most conversations are not genuine exchanges, but battles for airtime. People listen just enough to respond, but not enough to understand. As Epictetus reminds us, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. When you practice silence in conversation, you train yourself to listen with full presence. You don't interrupt. You don't mentally prepare your response while the other person is talking. You simply listen. This silence opens a deeper level of understanding. It allows you to hear not only the words, but the intent behind them. You'll start noticing what people are not saying, which often reveals more than their words. For example, imagine a heated argument with a loved one. Instead of reacting, you practice silence, listening carefully to their frustrations. In that space of silence, you gain insight into their pain, fears, and insecurities, allowing you to respond with compassion rather than defensiveness. This is where true connection begins. Number 3. Silence the need for approval. In today's society, most people are enslaved by the need for approval. Social media, work environments, even personal relationships, all these spheres constantly demand validation. But the Stoic knows that seeking approval is a trap. It places your worth in the hands of others, leaving you vulnerable to their opinions and judgments. Seneca, the great Stoic philosopher, wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." Craving approval makes you a beggar. A Stoic masters silence by silencing that need altogether. Your validation comes from within, not from others. Think about a time when you posted something on social media and found yourself constantly checking for likes and comments. Each time you looked, you handed over a piece of your power. Now imagine posting without ever looking for a reaction. Imagine living your life without needing external applause. In this silence, you reclaim your self-worth and independence. The true believer in Stoicism lives for their own values, not for the fleeting approval of others. Number 4. Master the pause in conversations. In moments of emotional intensity, most people rush to speak. They fear the silence between words, thinking it's a void to be filled. But as a Stoic, you learn to embrace the pause. Silence is not a void. It's a moment of clarity, a space where wisdom can emerge. Zeno, the founder of Stoicism, famously said, "Better to trip with the feet than with the tongue." In conversations, when emotions run high, your silence is a mark of control. You don't rush to respond, you allow the moment to settle. In that pause, you consider your words carefully. You weigh their impact. When you finally speak, your words are not driven by emotion, but by reason and virtue. Take a heated debate, for example. When the other person finishes their argument, instead of firing back, you pause. In that silence, you gather your thoughts, reflect on your values, and respond only when you have something meaningful to contribute. This kind of restraint in speech shows mastery not only over your words, but also over your emotions. Number 5. Reflect in silence. Every morning, the early hours of the day are sacred. They belong to you before the world imposes its demands. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, wrote about the importance of morning reflection. He began each day in silence, preparing his mind for the challenges ahead. As a true Stoic, you adopt this practice. In the quiet of the morning before the noise of the day begins, you sit in silence. You reflect on your goals, your values, and the kind of person you aspire to be. This morning silence isn't just about finding peace. It's about fortifying your mind for the battles that await. You prepare yourself for the inevitable challenges, the potential conflicts, and the distractions. In this silence, you build resilience. For example, before heading into a stressful meeting at work, take 5 minutes to sit in silence. Clear your mind. In this space, you visualize yourself staying calm, composed, and in control throughout the meeting. This morning ritual of silence sets the tone for how you will respond to life with unshakable fortitude. Number 6. Use silence as a response to criticism. Criticism is an inevitable part of life, but how you respond to it defines your character. When others criticize you, it's tempting to defend yourself, to explain or justify your actions. But the Stoic knows that silence can be a far more powerful response. Epictetus, in his discourses, advised, "If someone speaks ill of you, do not make excuses, but reply, 'He must not know my other faults, else he would not have mentioned only these.'" In other words, criticism often reveals more about the critic than it does about you. Your silence in the face of criticism shows that you are secure in yourself. You don't need to explain or defend, you let your actions speak louder than words. Consider a scenario where a co-worker publicly criticizes your work. Most people would rush to defend themselves, to clear their name. But as a Stoic, you let the silence do the talking. You accept the criticism, reflect on it, and if it's unjust, you let it roll off your back. Your silence demonstrates that you are above petty squabbles. Over time, others will notice your calm, collected demeanor and will respect you for it. Number 7. Avoid gossip and idle talk. In the noise of daily life, gossip and idle talk are everywhere. People waste hours discussing trivial matters, engaging in rumors and spreading unnecessary chatter. But the Stoic avoids this noise. As Seneca said, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you." When you practice silence by refusing to engage in gossip, you protect your peace. You choose your conversations wisely, engaging only in discussions that are meaningful and virtuous. In a world filled with noise, your silence stands out. It reflects your focus and commitment to higher principles. The next time you find yourself in a group where gossip starts to spread, practice silence. Don't engage. Watch as the conversation shifts and dissipates, and in that moment, you'll realize the power of your silence. You'll walk away with your integrity intact and your mind free from the burden of idle chatter. Number 8. Silence your internal critic. The most persistent noise is often the one inside your own mind, the voice of self-doubt, fear, and criticism. As a Stoic, you learn to silence this internal critic, recognizing it for what it is, a destructive force. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." When negative thoughts arise, you don't engage with them. You don't allow them to dictate your actions or emotions. Instead, you observe them in silence. acknowledging them without giving them power. This practice of inner silence allows you to cultivate a calm, focused mind, free from the torment of self-doubt. For example, imagine preparing for an important presentation. Your mind begins to fill with thoughts of failure, embarrassment, and fear. But instead of spiraling, you practice inner silence. You observe the thoughts, but you don't attach to them. In this silence, you regain control over your mind and approach the situation with confidence and calm. Number 9. Embrace the silence of nature. In the midst of a chaotic world, nature offers a profound silence that reconnects you to something greater. Seneca believed in the healing power of nature, writing, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." In the quiet of nature, you realize that most of your worries are imagined. The silence of the natural world reminds you of your place in the grand scheme of things and helps you regain perspective. Take time each day to step outside, away from the noise of society. Whether it's a walk in the park, a moment by the sea, or simply sitting under a tree, embrace the silence that nature offers. In this space, you can reflect, recharge, and reconnect with your Stoic values. This is where you find peace and strength. Number 10. Practice solitude and silence. Finally, solitude is essential for the Stoic. In a world that constantly demands your attention, finding time for yourself is crucial. Musonius Rufus, a Stoic philosopher, taught that solitude allows for deep self-reflection and growth. It is in silence that you confront your thoughts, your desires, and your fears. Set aside time each day for solitude. Sit in silence with your thoughts. Reflect on your actions, your progress, and your aspirations. In this solitude, you cultivate the inner strength to face whatever challenges life throws your way. Solitude isn't loneliness. It's the foundation of your inner power. These 10 practices of silence are not passive. They are deliberate actions that cultivate strength, control, and wisdom. Silence for the Stoic is not a retreat from life, but a powerful tool to navigate it. It's the mastery of your emotions, your reactions, and your mind. By practicing silence in these ways, you overcome destructive emotions and embody the Stoic ideal of self-mastery. In a world filled with noise, your silence speaks volumes. It is your strength, your clarity, and your shield against chaos. Embrace the power of silence and let it transform you into the person you are destined to be, a person of fortitude, wisdom, and unshakable control. Good day.